Chris Level here with another edition of Pirate Talk. Nicole Baxter here, the director, the head one in charge of the Pirate Pride Band. We thought we'd mix it up a little bit and get a little education here on just the band in general because it's synonymous with football season. We were just talking about that before we started, about football and band kind of go hand in hand. But so, Nicole, with that, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here and get to be a part of this. We love being part of Friday Night Lights. That's such a huge part of what we do with the band, and excited to be on the show and get to chat about it for a little bit.
Absolutely. Okay, so first of all, how long have you been doing this?
This is year 12 for me. So this is my 6th year as the head director at the high school. I was the assistant before that and actually worked at Laura Bush a year before that.
Okay.
So 10th year in the district, and then 12th year teaching.
How does one get into being a band director? Because it is a stressful, very time-consuming job, and it's kind of a niche
It is.
job. Tell me how that kind of, you funneled into that.
That's kind of an interesting thing when you're in band and you're a kid and you're like, man, band is so cool. I want to be a band director. Those are two different things. And they kind of trick you and they're like, cool, now you're in, too late. But no, my band directors were just some of my most important mentors, some of the most important adults in my life. They inspired me, they took care of me, they taught me, and I knew that like the influence that they had on my life, I wanted to do that for others. I wanted to be who I needed as a kid. And so combine that with my love of band, and there was just no other choice for me. I just knew that's what I wanted to do. That's what I needed to do. So
Now, back at your days at Wichita Falls High School, what instrument were you playing?
I started on the clarinet.
Okay.
And I was a late beginner. I didn't start until the 8th grade, where most kids start in 6th grade.
Okay.
And somehow I convinced Mr. Lewis to let me join late. I don't know what was going on, but he let me join. And then in high school, all my friends were in the French horn section. So I started bugging my high school director, hey, can I learn the French horn? And so she let me march in the French horn section and play clarinet for concert season. And I continued that through high school and all the way through going band at Tech.
I love it. See, so you're a Red Raider too.
Yes,
that.
I am.
We're simpatico there. How many kids do you have in your program?
We're running about 140 this year.
Okay.
So,
and is that because the school split? Is that down just a bit? Or is
yes, it is. It is down. We were around 180 last year.
Okay. It seems like, as I eyeball it, seems like there's like 1,000 people out there in this organized chaos.
Right.
But it's just 100. What did you say?
140.
Okay, 140. Okay. And this is all classifications. Okay, and so that's how many march on a Friday night is 140, or do they have to earn the right tomorrow? I mean, how does that work?
That's a great question. Okay. So for band, it's a little different.
Okay.
We're considered a varsity activity. Everybody who's in the band is in the varsity band. But that doesn't mean everybody does what we call the competition show. Okay. So on Friday night, all of our kiddos are out there on the field. Okay. We have a JV block that are students that still need a little bit of time to really be able to be at the competitive level we need them to be. So they still get to march on Friday, still get the experience. They're a part of the band with everybody else. And then in competitions, that block just comes off the field and doesn't march. And then the core group of the majority of the kids march at competitions.
Is there a minimum or a maximum in this deal?
There is not. There are no rules as to how many or how few kids you can have.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to start just tossing Nicole here a bunch of dumb questions because I'm kind of fascinated by this. How do you determine what the themes of each performances are that you do at halftime, and like how well ahead of time is that planned out?
That is one of my favorite things to talk about.
Okay.
We will start.
And we didn't know any of these. Yeah.
No, that's perfect. We will start planning the 2024 show in October.
Okay.
Of this year.
Okay, so a year ahead of time.
So a year ahead of time, we start throwing around ideas, see kind of what sticks, and then we start through the process. Well, let me back up. We plan our shows in several different ways. Sometimes we latch on to a concept. Like, wouldn't it be cool if we did a show about this? And then we start to develop ideas. That's a cool idea. This song could work with that, and we choose that route. Sometimes, for example, last year we fell in love with this song called Creeks, and we just loved this piece of music, and we decided, how can we make a show around a song called Creeks? And that's how we started to talk about water, and it turned into Fathoms Below. So it just, all sorts of different things can kind of catch your curiosity and catch your inspiration
Creative brain, yeah.
yeah, and then whatever kind of sticks, we discuss with our designers and our team, and say, what's going to fit the group the best, what is the audience going to enjoy and understand, and kind of go from there. So every year's a little different on what is that little nugget of like, that's what it's going to be. But that's kind of how we start with that. So we plan that through October, November. In November, we're starting to get our designers on board and getting them hired, our drill design, choreography, starting to plan costumes and all of that. And then by January, everybody's blowing and going, getting music written and drill design and choreography and final designs. And then that kind of goes on through the spring. And then by the time school is out, they should have most of their music usually. So we've already practiced through the show. We've got a little bit of color guard choreography. We have to order the costumes and the flags and the props, all of that stuff back in the spring so that it can get produced. Most of that is custom, produced and designed and in our hands in time for our first contest.
Okay, so let's back up a little bit, because most of the time, and maybe our audience sees you guys on Friday nights at halftimes, you're kind of working on these competition shows. It's like a free trial or practice in front of a lot of people is kind of how it works. Because in you guys' area, there's these UIL competitions, and that's what everything is funneled towards.
Right.
How many competitions are there per year? Is it just the one?
We
Like in each semester, or is it just one for the whole academic year?
there's a couple of different routes. So in the spring semester, we do concert contests. So there's a whole UIL. There's 2 UIL events. There's concert and sight reading, and then there's solo and ensemble. So those are like what we call sit-down band time.
Okay.
So that's sit-down band.
Okay.
But in the fall, we have the UIL string, which there are other competitions. We'll actually go to BOA as our first competition, which is, it's similar to like an invitational tournament, I would think.
Okay.
It's not UIL, but we sign up and we go compete. There's finals, there's championships, there's all of that. But for UIL, we start with the regional level, which is October 14th. And that is the first level where we have not a ranking, but a rating. So we earn either a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. And every band gets a rating. There's no limit of like only so many bands get
Who's
a 1.
rating them? We don't have like a Russian judge that we're worried about.
No, we have they hire out judges. We have 3 judges every year.
Okay.
And so we get a rating. And then all of the bands in Texas that get a 1, which is the highest rating, then advance to the area round.
Okay.
So area round would be the next week. It's October 28th. They have zoned it this year. So our area A spans from El Paso to Wichita Falls, from like Abilene, San Angelo area up to the top of the Panhandle. So we're the biggest by geography, which becomes cost prohibitive when you're having to send marching bands to Odessa. So we've zoned it. So all of the El Paso schools are in one side of the area, and then everybody else are in our side. So we'll compete in Lubbock on the 28th. There's a prelim round where we all march, and at that point we then get a ranking. So no more ratings, ranking. They'll score us, and then the top 10 bands get to come back for finals. And then from there, it is 1 band for every 5 make it to state.
Okay. It's a lot.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot. It's kind of confusing.
It's a lot. Okay. Do you ever have... Okay, so I don't think the general person understands how much you guys practice because, football terms, we talk, hey, man, they have 2 days, which they don't really do that anymore. You guys have like 3 days and some stuff. Like, I mean, I'm not over exaggerating that, but like it's a lot of practice and parking lot time.
Yes.
Yes. And I don't know, when do y'all start and how much practice does go into this?
A lot. Like all the other UIL groups, we're held to the 8-hour rule. So that applies during the school year. During the summer, our rules are a little different. We're allowed a certain amount of time, outside parking lot time, before August 1st. And then August 1st to the start of school, it's kind of like a free-for-all. Like, how much can you cram in? Good luck. And then when school starts, the 8-hour rule starts.
Okay.
So before that August 1st date, we come up here and we do like mornings outside and then inside for music. Then August 1st to the start of school, we usually do like an 8 to 4 day for summer band until professional development starts. And then when the teachers go back, we'll do evenings. We'll do like 3 hours in the evenings.
Okay.
And then a typical school week, we don't hit our 8-hour rule. We do every morning from 7 to 8. Then we have our first period class. And we are lucky to have that every day. And we love having that with our kids. We actually don't do pure marching band during first period though, because we're also getting ready for all region contests and upcoming, Christmas concert will
You're
come up.
multitasking.
Yes, there are several things that happen.
Within the. Yeah.
Yes, that aren't just marching band.
Okay.
So we use that time for a lot of different things. And then after school, we do 1 day a week on Tuesdays for 2 hours.
A lot going on.
It's a lot.
Yeah, you're juggling a lot of different projects at the same time. I think I know the answer to this because you're going to be the way you're going to answer it, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Do you ever have a bad performance?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, see.
yeah.
Because from my standpoint, I'm like, they're undefeated. I mean, right? It's like rock on. I mean, like doing their thing and like everything seems so choreographed, but it's kind of like a wedding, I guess. Like maybe there's a few things that went wrong, but only the mom of the bride or the bride or the groom know about. But so that's kind of the deal.
Yes.
The general person's not going to know, but you're going to be like, we weren't sharp very. Okay,
Right.
okay.
Usually the general audience probably won't notice, or they may go, "What? That was kind of weird." And then they forget about it.
Okay.
But for us, we're like, we worked on that, we fixed that, and the kids know too. And so they come off the field ready to fix it and get better for the next week.
Do you ever get mad?
I think every
Do you have to?
director or coach would.
Okay. Like, yeah, because it's all about coaching styles and dealing
yeah.
with young people, and some young people pay attention more than others,
Right.
or all those things. Okay, so but you've got. I'm also curious, like uniforms, and who gets to stand on the ladder?
So
at halftime?
we have our drum majors.
Yeah. Okay. Educate me on the drum major because the ladder is like a prominent position at halftime. Like it's a big, it's like okay, everybody's looking at the person on the ladder.
Our drum majors are this year we have 4 drum majors,
Okay.
and they are the top level of student leadership in our group.
Voted on? You nominate them?
A little bit of everything. So we take student feedback in terms of like they submit some ballots. We kind of see who do the kids respond well to. They go through an interview process. They go through a tryout process. And then they have to show that they can conduct as well. They have several training sessions.
So people really are like,
yeah.
they're following them. What they're okay.
Oh yeah, no,
It's not just for show.
No, they can make or break it.
Okay.
Absolutely, and they're
Okay.
doing a great job this year.
Okay. Great. I love this. This is fun stuff. How many different instruments are in the Pirate Pride Band? How many different instruments are
Typical on a
utilized?
marching band.
Yeah.
So pretty much the majority of what you would find in a regular concert band you'd find outside, with the exception of we don't take oboes outside or
Okay.
bassoons, and that's just they're really expensive and made of wood, and we live in West Texas, and you'll see that with most bands. Now there may be a soloist time that we feature somebody, but in general you get flutes, clarinets, saxes, and some variations, some bass clarinet, tenor sax. Then we have trumpets, baritones, trombones, tubas. You may notice, if you have any familiarity with instruments, for example, the French horn is a round instrument and the bell points backwards. So for marching season, they have what's called a mellophone, and it's rewrapped and faces forward. So it's a very large bell. Same thing with baritones, euphoniums are normally bell up, and tubas too, bell up, and that's when we get the sousaphones and the bell front baritones. So, and then of course the percussion section is massive. We have all sorts in the percussion section.
Drums, yeah. You see, in this, I'm so out of my realm here, but this is fascinating to me. How many? Do you ever have somebody? Okay, how many kids in your are in multiple, like can play multiple instruments? A bunch of them, or very few?
A pretty good handful. Percussion is generally, they can all play all the percussion.
Okay.
Our double reed kiddos, they all double on something else. So our oboes and bassoons.
What's a double reed?
The oboes and bassoons that we don't take outside.
Okay.
Some of them are in the percussion section. Some are playing saxophone. We've had kids play all sorts of different instruments.
Okay.
So they learn a second instrument just for marching band.
Okay.
And then a good example is like our color guard. A lot of those students play an instrument for concert season, but then they go spin a flag outside at halftime.
Okay. Okay. Does anybody ever, for the sake of a performance, do you ever have to switch positions? Like, I think you're just better over here or there. Does that ever happen?
Very rarely.
Okay.
And that's one of the hard things about marching band is we don't necessarily have like second string, third string. We just go in there because every kid learns a specific spot on that field and specific choreography. Even if they're all playing the same music, some of them may have a trumpet 1 part or a trumpet 2 part. And so kids aren't exactly interchangeable. Now, we've had to swap kids out. Somebody breaks a foot, somebody becomes ineligible. And those kids that jump in and fill in those spots, they have to learn a whole new spot from scratch. They have to learn all of that part.
The kids get sick. Life happens.
Oh, yeah. But those kids are rock stars. They jump in. But it is very difficult to swap kids in and out.
How does one get to earn a solo at one of these performances?
Because
this is not common. It's rare, right? But it does happen.
It's becoming more and more common to have a soloist feature. That's something that UIL actually kind of scores on, not only like full band, but small group things. So sometimes there's a small feature, sometimes there's a soloist. But as we plan those shows back in October, we're starting to think about who's in our band the previous year. Who are our kids who practice all the time, who do what they're supposed to, who show up, great attitudes, who are fantastic musicians. We've been able to feature lots of great musicians, from oboe solos to flute solos. This year we have French horn solo. We had euphonium last year. We've even had a tuba solo several years ago. So we kind of try to find our kids that are just going to excel really well. And actually, after COVID, we try to find students, if we're going to solo them, that we have multiple kids on those instruments that will do well in case something weird happens and somebody can't do it. We can fill them in. They always have an understudy. So.
Okay. It's like a Broadway here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right. How long is a halftime performance? Like, how much are you allotted, like, when you're on a Friday night? 8 minutes, 10 minutes, 12 minutes?
So it's kind of a twofold question.
Okay.
At halftime, the whole halftime can be 28 minutes, so it would be 14 and 14. But UIL for marching band, our show, we have a 5-minute prep period. Then our show can be between 5 and 8 minutes, and then we have 2 minutes to get off the field. So a max of 15. Now, we never quite take 15. Okay. But if you go to a marching contest, you'll see it on a 15-minute schedule.
It's a lot of practice for, like,
I know.
You got to better showtime when the lights come on. Got to be good. Got to be on point. Do you? Is it fun for them in the stands at a game?
Oh my goodness!
So that's kind of where they get to, like, kind of cut loose a little bit and create the environment.
Yes, we have so much fun. Last week we had a blast. We had our 8th graders come join us, and some of our friends from Liberty, and oh my goodness, they went wild. It was so much fun.
And I know Coach Darden and them, they didn't have the best game that they wanted to the other night, but see the band undefeated. That's why it's that's what's just uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
Like what goes into, like, the normal uniform year to year, and how long are these, like, in before they're replaced? Mm-hmm. And because band uniforms are a big deal,
right?
And comfortable. We got it with weather. I mean, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah. So uniforms, on average, I would say, are probably 8 to 10 years life cycle, because they're so expensive.
Not cheap.
Our uniforms have several pieces. We have, just real quickly, marching shoes, marching socks, the pants. They have a matching T-shirt. Our uniforms actually come in 2 parts, where there's a sleeve and then there's a vest. So what you see up top is 2 parts, and we can swap out the sleeves to give different looks. If you watch on Friday night, our drum majors have the same vest, but a different set of sleeves than everybody. Then they have their hat, which is 3 parts in itself, and then their gloves and their gauntlets. When it's super hot, like our early season games, we'll just wear T-shirts and shorts and jeans. It's just, it's too hot.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It's too hot.
Yeah, 105 is not conducive to a band uniform.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
And then we started uniforms last week. We'll wear them through about the point it gets really cold in playoffs. Then we'll start adding on, like, leather jackets and beanies and some warm layers as well.
Okay. And so, you guys have, first of all, you can find Nicole and the band and all that stuff, Facebook at Pirate Pride Band, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They're on Instagram, they're on Twitter or X, whatever we're calling it these days. So if you're interested in kind of following their activities. But you have a big deal. What are we calling it? A spectacular?
The Band Spectacular.
Band Spectacular on September the 26th, where I think all bands in the district are going to kind of perform, and kind of, it's a trial.
Yeah.
And just kind of like let us practice. You come watch and all that stuff at Pirate Stadium, I believe. Which is a Tuesday, so I know that you're kind of, that's the next thing other than the football games that you're kind of pointing toward.
Yes. So Band Spectacular is coming up on the Tuesday. We got the idea from our friends in Lubbock ISD. They've done this for years, and it's been such a great community builder. They bring out their middle school students and their high school students, get a good rep of all of their shows. For us, it was a there were several reasons we wanted to do that. Liberty, they have so few home games that they're not going to have a full performance of their show really before UIL. So we wanted to make sure that they had a great opportunity to perform for a nice big audience. And then, of course, we just wanted to loop in our middle school students as well and show them that band is a family. We cooperate with across all the schools. We're all really good friends. We all work at all the different schools. We go visit. I was just talking to you earlier about after this, I'm headed over to the middle schools to go visit. And so we wanted them involved as well. A lot of them have siblings and friends and family there anyway. And just to have one big giant kind of Lubbock Cooper band event.
I love it. See, like Mr. Bryant said, better together.
Yes,
see,
very much.
All the same. And I love how Nicole, our friends, no matter where they are, whether it's in the district, outside, they're our friends. Yeah, that's right. So, and then after that, you mentioned like some of your competition dates. That's when it really gets serious.
Yes.
Okay. And I think that the general person doesn't understand. It used to be a UIL competitions every other year, and now it's every year.
Yes.
Has that changed the dynamic for you at all? That it's it's not like the Olympics where every 4 years or every other year, whatever. No, this is a year-to-year thing now.
It's changed the vibe of the kids. So from a teaching standpoint and a planning standpoint, we don't do anything different as far as a UIL show or a not UIL show. We still push our kids to be successful. Last year was not a state year. So what has happened is in the past we would get to region, you'd get your rating, and that would be the end on your not state year. This last year was the first time they experimented with just adding the area contest, so everybody got one more week of competitive marching band, which was great. We went, had a great showing, came out on top, and then after that, we're done. So it's like, good job. If it was a state year, you would have gone, but it's not. So the kids pushed really hard, but that's sitting in the back of their mind like,
yeah, what are we doing this for?
What's the point?
Yeah.
So now that state is going to be every year, that pressure's on every year. And it's really ramped up the way our kids are rehearsing and performing. And man, they're hungry for more.
The kids get nervous?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
For fear of messing up
Yeah.
or letting you down
and we talk a lot about, I specifically use the words when we're in rehearsal, when you mess up. Not if you mess up, because they're going to in 8 minutes, and they have 8 minutes of music with times however many notes that is, times how many steps that they take, plus choreo, plus all of the things that are happened, times all these. I mean, it's just an absurd amount of data points. They're gonna make a mistake, but it's all about how you recover.
Yeah, it's and life lessons, like just like sports. I mean, you're learning about life lessons and how to deal with adversity a little bit. That's
Exactly.
Right. That's right. Tell me about before I let you get out of here. Tell me about the people that are helping you. Your staff, if you will. Yeah, brag on some of them.
Oh,
because
gosh.
you can't do this by yourself.
Right. No, there is no way I could do this by myself. At the high school, I am blessed to have 4 other directors working with me. We have JP Gonzalez, Melinda Coleman, David Martinez, and Dave Reynolds. And they work, they each kind of have their specialty, whether it's percussion or brass or woodwinds. So everybody kind of takes their little chunk of band kids and really kind of is their sub coach, basically.
Position coach, yeah.
Really, that's kind of how it is. Yeah. At the middle schools, our directors also help us. We go help at the middle schools, and they come up and help us. At Cooper Middle, we have Alan Hanna and Dexter Martin, and at Laura Bush, we have Liz Johnson and Michaela Santos, and then at Liberty, we have John Jones. And we all help each other out all the time. We also are really blessed that we have several additional help that we're able to bring in as clinicians. We have Casey Cotton, works with our guard. She's actually a Cooper alum. Super proud of her, and she is just doing amazing things with our color guard. We have a student teacher this year, Cassidy Freeman, and then numerous clinicians who come in. It's like position coaches for one class period. Like, come work with just the saxophones for this class period. We have so many great people.
Clinicians.
Yes.
That's a new word for me. I'm going to use that. That might be on the Pirate Talk bingo card. See if I can work clinicians into a future episode right there. That's good stuff. Okay. So I thought this was a good education for folks. Do your kids feel like they can help like a team out on a Friday night? By the
Oh,
way?
yeah.
See, and
Yeah.
some ownership there.
Yes.
And school pride, and
Yes,
it's called
very
the
much
Pirate
so.
Pride Band for a reason. But I mean, you kind of symbolize what what the school is about. You're the sound of it.
Yes.
Do they like the pep rallies?
Oh, yeah. We have a blast.
Yeah, and not everybody. I'm sure that you can't fit everybody in there for the pep rally. There's just the drum.
Actually, everybody goes.
Everybody goes. Okay.
Everybody goes to pep rally.
Okay, so you can fit them all in the gym and everything like that.
We do fit them in the gym.
Just make it work. Yeah,
We
that's
make
right.
it work.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Because that's what I was telling you. It's like it's just synonymous. Like you can't have one without the other. It's
Right.
kind of the yin and the yang. So, how long do you think you'll do this? Just
I-
just off into the distance for a long time.
We'll see. I love band, and I love everything, getting to work with these kids and with all of the other directors I work with. Like, I just love Lubbock Cooper, and I just want this band program to be exceptional, and whatever I
is.
can do to serve that.
Yeah,
That'd be
you
great.
do a wonderful job, and I know a lot of people without knowing who you are, or just kind of see the product, really appreciate what you do.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, it's good stuff. That's Nicole Baxter. This has been Pirate Talk. We've been talking Pirate Pride Band. So September 26th, Pirate Stadium that evening. Again, excuse me, the Band Spectacular. I want to make sure I said the right word. And if you want to follow these guys, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all that, Pirate Pride Band. So thank you for tuning in. This has been another edition of Pirate Talk.